Guys, Taylor Mayers here with All Day Training, doing vlog number 5. It is October 31st, so happy Halloween. Being that it's Halloween, I decided I would switch it up on you and talk about something different, something that kind of goes along with the Halloween theme, and that's fear. This is something that means a lot to me, this topic, because it applies not just to fitness, but every aspect of your life. It's a mantra that I practice every day, and I think there are too many people out there, as I look around, interacting with people, that let fear drive their decision making. Many more than what most people think. And I think if we're all honest with ourselves and asking why we choose not to do something or why we choose not to go after that goal, that dream, doesn't matter if it's just working out, it doesn't matter what area of our lives we're talking about, that fear is what stands in the way of us achieving everything we've ever wanted. And I decided a long time ago that fear was not going to motivate me or drive my decision making, but it still dictates a lot of people's futures. And everybody wants to make excuses for why they won't do something. And they'll come up with the best excuses in the world, the best reasons in the world. I've heard every single one of them 1,000 times. But what I've learned is that it's usually masking something deep down inside of them that they choose to ignore, or that they know that's there, they just choose not to share it with everyone else. And that's that they're afraid. There are a number of reasons why they may be afraid, but the bottom line is they're scared. And I've been one of these people before. And it's usually one of these 3 fears. The first one is fear of being judged. Is being afraid that people are going to look at you and they're going to laugh at you. They're going to make fun of you. You're afraid to walk in the gym because you know that everyone's going to look at you and go, look at them, they're out of shape. They're overweight. They're going to crack jokes. They're going to say things behind your back. And that usually scares people into never trying at all. Let me tell you something. As I shoot this video, there will be people that are judging me. I'm well aware that I've been judged more times than I can possibly count, and people that say things behind my back and talk about me. And let me be the bearer of bad news for all of you that are watching this. You are being judged, and that people are going to watch you, judge you, say things about you forever. Forever. No matter what choices you make. You know what's funny though? When you just get out there and you're not afraid to fall on your face, you don't care what someone else thinks about you or says about you, you just make up your mind that what you want is worth it. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says or thinks. You do it. And you know what's really funny is that eventually you become successful, right? You get in the gym, you start getting after it, you start following the nutrition, you start making changes, and those same people that were judging you and making fun of you before are the ones that are judging you now. Only they're going to say things like, oh, man, she must be starving herself. How else could you get that skinny, right? Or he's got to be on steroids. There's no way he could put on muscle like that. You see, the haters are always going to be there. The people that talk about you, the people that judge you, that throw rocks. I love those people. Those people make me fight harder every single day. I'm determined to prove every last one of them wrong. And that's the attitude you have to take. That's the attitude you have to take with every choice you make in life to get what you want. Fear number 2 is fear of pain. Fear of discomfort, right? It's going to be hard. It's going to hurt. Folks, nothing worthwhile in this life comes without discomfort. My dad once told me that when I was a kid. I couldn't understand it. I was too young, too immature, too impatient to understand what he was telling me at the time. It wasn't until years later that I understood it completely. Was that anything worthwhile, anything that you want to accomplish in your life, requires discomfort, requires pain, requires being in a position where you don't want to be there, mentally, physically, spiritually. And what's funny is it's through that pain, that medium, that's where you see the results. That's where everything great that could possibly happen for you, that's where you transcend. That's where you become the person you were meant to be. Is behind that pain, is behind that discomfort. So you have to be willing to attack and know that it's going to hurt, it's going to be uncomfortable. You see, we live in a society now where we're bombarded by these infomercials where somebody's convincing you if you just take a pill or buy into a meal plan or do 5 minutes of the shake weight, that it's going to transform your body and transform your life. And that bothers me to no end because it perpetuates this lie, this myth. It tries to convince people that, hey, you don't have to be uncomfortable. You don't have to feel pain. With very little effort of your own, you can change and be the person you were meant to be. That's a lie. You know those people in those infomercials, those ripped up, shredded people that are shaking that shake weight or on that ab rocker or hanging out on that Bowflex elliptical hybrid treadmill? Those people look like that not because they used that equipment, but because they literally got in the gym and grinded every single day, every day, when they were tired, when they were hurting, when they were sore. So let me be the bearer of bad news again. You want lasting change? You want to be the person you were meant to be? You have to be willing to feel some pain, some discomfort. Because through that pain and through that discomfort is everything you've ever wanted. The last fear I'm going to talk about is the most important one. This is the one that drives most people. This is the one that drove me for a long time. And I made a decision years ago that I was never going to let it control my future. And that's the fear of failure. You got to ask yourself and be honest with you. Be honest with yourself about why you choose not to go after that which you want. Because you can make up any excuse in the world, but at the end of the day, most people are afraid to fail. They're afraid to fall on their face. You know, what if I try? What if I put everything into this? What if I give it all that I've got and I fall? Let me tell you about a couple of people that have fallen. Thomas Edison was kicked out of school when he was a boy and told that he was holding the class back because he was inept, right? He failed 1,000, 2,000 times trying to create a light bulb. But he was determined to change the world because he knew his vision would come to fruition. Oprah was fired from her first news reporting job in Baltimore because they told her she was too emotionally invested in her stories. Too emotionally invested. Michael Jordan, we all know that story. He was kicked off his basketball team in high school, told he was average talent at best, but he knew he was more than that. He knew he was destined to be more, and he was determined to prove them all wrong. Every person you've ever heard of or read about or seen on TV, their lives have been marked by failure. In fact, some of the most successful people on the planet are successful because they failed so many times. I have failed more times than I can possibly count. I have fallen, literally fallen on my face more times than I can count. And it just makes me get back up and want to do it better the next time and find a way to do it the right way. See, it's through failure that you learn how to be a better version of yourself. And so next time you are not sure whether you want to try to do something, but you know deep down inside that's what you want to do, and you're giving yourself all these reasons and you're trying to give all these explanations to people about why you shouldn't do it, or you're going to wait, right? You're going to wait till the time's right. There will never be a right time. What you need to do is look inside yourself and ask yourself, am I scared? And if you're afraid, you need to figure out why you're afraid. And you need to say to yourself, you know what? I'm afraid. I'm scared. I'm afraid to be judged. I'm afraid people are going to look at me and laugh, talk behind my back. I'm afraid it's going to hurt. I'm afraid I'm going to be uncomfortable for a while. I'm afraid I may fail. When I started this business, I was afraid I was going to fail. My wife was pregnant. I was broke. I was broke. But I knew this is what I wanted to do and be. And I wasn't afraid to fail. You got to say, I know I'm afraid, but I'm going to do it anyway. If you do that, you'll be the person you were meant to be. Behind every fear is a piece of that person that you were meant to be. The most important question you should ask yourself, if you're afraid to do something, what if I'm judged? What if I fail? What if it's going to hurt? The next question you should ask yourself is, what happens at the end of my life when I look back And I have to ask myself why I didn't try. And that should scare you to death. Be the person you were meant to be, guys. Have a safe and low sugar Halloween. See you next week.